Hello and welcome back to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones. We are moving into the second half of our show, and on this half, we are featuring the encourager, the author, Miss Brittany Bates. Brittany, are you on the line?
I am. How are you today?
Hey, I'm wonderful. How are you doing on this lovely Wednesday?
I'm good. I love your energy.
Oh, thank you so much. So let me do a little intro to you, Brittany, and then I'm going to have you do a 30-second elevator pitch intro of yourself. So Brittany Bates is an author and a speaker who has been given the fitting name of The Encourager, and she has a new book out, Daily Devotionals and Encouragement with B. And as you know, everyone that is a guest on my show, whether I've met them in person or not, is some way an inspiration or a motivation to me. And when I read all of the information about Brittany, I was particularly touched by the fact that she overcame any issues or challenges that she had with self-esteem. And now she uses that gift as a focus to help other women to realize their self-worth. So that is something that is very near and dear to my heart, a journey that I have been on myself. And so I'm so excited to talk to Brittany today about that very subject. Now, every week in every episode on our show, we have an ongoing business tip, which I call the 30-second elevator pitch or the 30-second elevator speech, which means if you are an author, an entrepreneur, a professional, and musical artist, you should have your 30-second elevator pitch almost like a commercial ready whenever you meet someone new, so that you can tell them who you are, what you do in a way that draws them in, yet leaves them wanting more and does not bore them to imminent death. So, Brittany, will you give us, our listeners, this audience, your 30-second elevator pitch?
Encouragement to Be is a book that everyone should have in their home. If you have overcome self-esteem, if you are just currently having self-esteem issues, if you're depressed, if you know someone that you want to encourage to just uplift them for a moment, this is the book for you to have, to give to them, and to have your own copy on your bookshelf.
Yes, thank you so much, Brittany. Now, one thing that stood out to me initially about your book and about your platform is that on your journey, you were set free from low self-esteem. So share with us a little bit about your story. What was it that you went through, and what helped you to get to the point where you are today, where you were set free from that low self-esteem, and you are now able to help encourage and inspire other women and girls to know their self-worth?
Geez, where do I begin? As a child, there were messages sent to me, early on that I wasn't to be heard. No one wanted to hear what I had to say. I mean, I've had family members who have told me later on in life, "Oh, I thought you were going to be an ugly girl." I was bullied. I was bullied in the fourth grade. I was picked on because I'm from the South, and we moved up north, and all the girls up north had bodies in the fourth grade. And I was still flat as the ironing board. And I had this bright idea. I liked fashion, and I wanted to wear, the nice clothes. And one day I wore, the bodysuits are coming back. So I wore a bodysuit to school. Can you imagine me standing next to this girl, several of them, who have these, they pretty much are like size B breasts. And I'm standing there with not even an A cup.
Oh.
So all the boys picked on me in school.
Oh,
no. I was never the one that got chose for anything. Just certain messages were sent early on. I wasn't beautiful. No one paid attention to me. I didn't need to be heard, and I carried that. Carried it into friendships. I thought, certain people were my friends. I had a friend who would do my hair for me, do my nails, and I felt beautiful, Well, then she was talking about me behind my back of, everything she had to do for me to get me to this pretty point, so to say. So it was, I think, the self-esteem issues, it goes way back to childhood.
Yes.
Upon my journey in trying to heal myself, I found that I was thinking, my husband now, if we had a problem, I would say everything was his problem. It was because of him. And once I started my journey to get my own healing, I found out it had nothing to do with him. It was something that happened to me when I was 5.
Wow.
When you look underneath everything. So
Wow.
it it took me a while to get to this point, and I would say maybe 2 years ago I finally was free from everything. The book came about, the encouragement, encouraging other people, because I thought there's some other 31-year-olds like me who has not been healed yet. Somebody who
Mm.
it started when they were 5 years old, and all this time. So I want to encourage the young, the old, the newborn, everybody that I can, so that they don't get to this point, because I carried it my whole life,
Yes.
and I hindered myself from things, or I was hindered from things, not myself, from things happening and growing, and different avenues going down these different paths growing up.
Yes, and that's one thing I don't think we realize as adults is that a lot of the things that happen to us in our childhood, we carry, even if it's subconscious, even if it's repressed, it is still there very deeply embedded within us, and it affects everything we do, from the relationships we choose to how we treat people. So I often tell people when I do trainings and such that there's a need behind every behavior. So if someone is insecure or cranky or crying for attention, there's something behind that, and it often goes back to something that we experienced as a child. So I'm excited to hear that you're being transparent and sharing your journey and using that to help others that might be going through the same thing. And I went through something very similar, particularly in my 20s, where I was like, oh, I'm not enough, or I would let relationships that had failed make me feel rejected, or like I had to lose weight, or I had to do this or that to be pretty. And then one day I said, dang, how dare I? How dare I forget whose I am, and talk about and think about myself in such a way? And I know a similar thing happened for you. In your bio, you say that you learn what it means to have a true relationship with God. So what does that mean? What does that feel like? We hear people talk about that, but what does it mean to have a true relationship, and how does that inform, building your self-esteem and knowing your value and your worth?
When I was 9, I gave my life to Christ. I understood it then, and I was young. I hadn't gone through anything yet. And I do commend my parents for instilling the love of God in me and taking me to church every Sunday, because when I got into trouble, I knew where to go back to.
Mm-hmm.
But that was my pattern my whole life. I would get in trouble. Oh, you just go back to church and you pray. Oh, just go to church Sunday. It'll be all right. But
Mm-hmm.
as I got older and I actually started going through things and reading the Word and understanding, I had to change my behaviors. Repentance is real. Change the things that I'm doing and things like that. I said, this is deeper than what I thought. Just go to church on Sunday. It's
Yes.
kind of like the pastor says, church is just not on Sunday. Come to Wednesday Bible study, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how it was for me. Like, oh, this is not a Sunday thing. This is something that needs to be every day and constant, because the enemy is constantly on your back. And the enemy's been on my trail since I was 9. I didn't realize it and didn't understand it then. And once I was able to understand the love of God for me, I was able to love myself and say, you know what? I'm not worthy from what God is giving Jesus, so that I may live. But what the world says I'm not worthy for, that's not true. So I had to, it was a journey to understand my self-worth, to where, I was comparing myself to the world and these friends I've had and what this person is doing. And be careful of Facebook, because everybody's living great on Facebook. And I'm like, I want to
Okay.
live like that.
That is all their representatives. You can put whatever face forward that you want on Facebook, and it is nothing but a facade.
I said, everybody's life is wonderful and perfect on Facebook. I'm telling you.
Uh-huh. Yes. So you have been given the name The Encourager. Tell me how that came about. What made that stick? Who made it up? When did it emerge?
2 years ago, I met a wonderful friend, and she says to me, do you know you have the gift of encouragement?
Mm.
And I said, no. I'm one of those people who you can say, and it stems from childhood, if someone would say, you're so beautiful, I would say, no, I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
So I have this pattern now that I'm, in Christ and fully in ministry and working, that if someone tells me you have this gift, I say, oh, no, I don't. And we have this running joke. And she'll say, well, you know you really are, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know. So I say, Lord, if I really am, I'll take it. But she said, you have the gift of encouragement. And I said, no, I don't. I just like to, boost people's energy and uplift them and things. And she said, no, you're the encourager. And I said, no, I'm not. This went on for like a week.
Wow.
So I prayed and I said, Lord, if I really have the gift of encouragement, if this is what you have given me, I want it, I accept it, I take it. And I met a lady who also had a text ministry. And once I gave her my number, I started receiving the messages, and I heard the Holy Spirit say, this is what you're supposed to be doing.
Wow.
And I said, me? I said, oh, surely no, And I would text my friends every now and again and, just say, hey, how are you doing? And if they're going through something, make sure I check in with them and check on them. And so I accepted it, and here I am 2 years ago. I'm the encourager.
Yes. Now, you have a beautiful daughter named Latoria. And I always thought, with everything I went through as a girl, with self-esteem and with, knowing my value and worth, I said, man, when I have kids, I want to have a boy. So how do you instill that self-esteem, that self-value and self-worth in Latoria?
I'm telling you, I was the same way. I said, I want a boy, I want a boy, I want a boy. Like, I don't want to do any hair. I don't want to have her go through anything that I went through. What I've learned is, again, those messages are sent as a child. And so I tell her every day, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. God made you the way he wants you to be. You're gorgeous. I tell her all day. I tell her, we read the Bible together, we pray together, and I make sure that she knows that God says she's worthy. It's not what any of her friends say. It's not what anybody else in the world says, not even anyone in church. It's not what they say that matters. It's what God says about you.
Yes.
And I said, God made you perfect. He made you just the way he wanted you to be. So I just tried to make sure I had give her the things that I didn't have. And just, somebody telling you you're beautiful every day. Somebody telling you that you can do all things through Christ. You can ace that test that you're going to take tomorrow. You're going to do it. You can get that grade up, And she recently tried out for basketball and volleyball, and she made both of those teams. But prior to that, she tried out for cheerleading. And that was rough because I said, I don't think she's a cheerleader.
No.
But her and her friends, they tried out together, and they didn't make it. And I go, oh, man. And out of, I want to say 30 girls, they picked 8 girls. Which I thought was a little unfair, but I said, man, even something as simple as trying out for a team at school sends you that message early on that you're not good enough.
Yes.
You're rejected. And I said, as soon as she said, well, I didn't make it, I grabbed her and I hugged her and I said, you're my cheerleader. I said, you will always be my cheerleader.
Aww.
And I said, you do know that this doesn't mean that you weren't good enough, and we processed through it. And she was able to help her friends because some of her friends are very devastated and crying. So she was like, oh, no, I'm just going to call everybody and encourage them and tell them that this is okay. We can try out next year.
She's the mini encourager.
She is. She started a Jesus group at school.
What? How old is she?
She's 12, but
Aww.
she started that, I want to say, when she was 10.
Wow.
She comes home one day and she says, Mom, we started the Jesus group at school.
That is awesome.
I said, you did? So, of course, now that's when I'm on Facebook. My baby started the Jesus group at school.
So that must mean she definitely has that confidence all through her. Now, your book is based on a 31-day journey. What is the significance of the 31 days, that number? It could have been a week, it could have been a year. What was the significance of you making it based on 31 days of encouragement?
It took 31 days for myself to come out of my storm, to realize my self-worth, to realize that I am worthy. So I wanted to give 31 days of encouraging for someone else. They may need 32 days. They may need a year, but 31 for me was the point that I realized, my aha moment. It took me that long to get there.
Yes. And I know they also say it takes about 31 days approximately to form a habit. So if we just focus for that many days on whatever we're trying to achieve, I can see how it can become a part of us, a part of our habits, and be instilled in us. Now, I want you to think. I have a similar book, and I know that while I think all of the messages are wonderful, there are always those few that I really just love. So, if you could think about one of those encouraging messages that you wrote in your book, and give us just a brief synopsis or the brief message behind that encouragement. So just share with us one word or a sentence or a paragraph of one of the encouragements from your book that can inspire and encourage our listeners.
On page 16, it is my favorite one. It's entitled Changing Your X into a Cross. And as I was writing this, I said, so many times we try to fix ourselves before we will even go to church. You invite people to church and they'll say, oh, I get myself together and then I'll come to church. I'll get myself together and then I'll pray to God. And I was thinking and I said, that's not how God doesn't want us to come fixed already. He likes to fix us.
Mm-hmm.
And anyway, we can't fix ourselves. We think we can. I did that myself too. And I said, to all the people who think they can't come because they're drug dealers, who think they can't pray to God because, they used to gossip or they were a thief or, a stripper or anything. And when I wrote, this is my favorite one because you can change your X into a cross.
Mm.
Just move that line up and make it a cross. Make that T. Change that X into a T because that's when God wants us to come and He'll change our past. And He'll take what we used to be and make us something great because His word says it. He will make all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord. So that means that if we are in a mess somewhere, He can turn that around for our good. We can't do it, but He can.
Yes.
So I just love it that I'll share a little paragraph from it. And it says, the more you follow the narrow path to righteousness, people will try to remind you of how you used to be. They never seem to forget all that you have done, but when it comes to their own faults, the list is few, far and in between. And I quoted Matthew 7:3 states, and why do you look at the speck in your brother's eye and do not consider the plank in your own eye? And so many, even this journey for myself and so many other people that I've spoken to, people will constantly remind you of how you used to be, where you used to go. I stopped going to the club, and I lost a lot of friends. I lost all of them, actually.
Wow.
I wasn't going to the club anymore. And it hurt. And it's during those times where you have to really stand on the Word of God and be dedicated to what you want to do. If you want to better yourself in Christ, if you want to better your life, the club is not where you're going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I struggled with that, and I would think, many a times, I'm just going to go put my clothes on and go to the club.
Mm-hmm.
Well, then I got rid of all the club clothes. So I can't wear my church slacks.
Interesting. So this is your first book, correct?
Yes.
So we have a lot of aspiring authors that listen to the show, and this is Writer Wednesday. So what advice do you have for other aspiring authors that are thinking about writing a book, that are in the beginning stages of writing a book? What have you learned on your journey that you can share with other aspiring authors?
I learned to have a great support system around me to encourage me, to hold me accountable for what I'm supposed to be doing. And anytime that I thought of something that needed to go in the book, I would just write it down or type it in my phone. We all have iPhones, some fancy phone with a notepad on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I would just put it in there. And I would read different books, and I would, look at different quotes to get my inspiration from so that it could be accomplished, because I'm a procrastinator. And if I didn't have someone holding me accountable, and if I didn't keep prayerful, and the feedback from friends and family that was like, when is your book coming out? When is your book coming out? I wouldn't have gotten it done. So I say, keep writing, keep finding things to inspire you, stay prayerful, and keep someone around you, some good support around you.
Yes, thank you for that. Now, if we are interested, and I know we all are, in purchasing or picking up your book or using it, as a guide in our study group or our book club or our church group, where can we purchase your book?
The book can be purchased at Amazon.com. It also can be purchased on my website, and it's www.brittanybates.net.
Okay.
It's also available for download on Kindle.
Awesome. And then, as I always ask my guests, I really want to know, how can we support you? What do you need most right now? What's coming up next? For those that are listening, please tell us, Brittany, how can we support you?
Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. I'm constantly putting videos and encouraging messages out. I just want to get the word out. I just want to save somebody from that brink of depression. So if it's just reposting a picture or reposting a video that I put out there, a quote, that would just be phenomenal. I truly want to get the word of God out in these inspiring messages to help and save people.
Yes, and I'll share all of your social media sites, but tell us how we can follow you right now. For those listening, how we can follow you on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. I know that your branding is consistent across all three, but tell us what your username or your handle is to follow you.
On Twitter, it's at @B_the Encourager. Also on Instagram, it's at @B_the Encourager. Facebook is Brittany Bates.
Okay. And then as we wrap up now, could you just leave us all with one final word of encouragement, since you are the encourager?
It's the holiday season, and the holidays aren't as joyous for everybody. Some people are battling depression. Their seasonal depression is very, very real during these holiday times, and even the winter changing from fall and things like that gives people depression. So I encourage you all today to be mindful of those around you at work, your family members who've gone through a tough time, who you may see that are down. I just encourage you all to be that encouragement to one other person. You don't have to do it every day, but just make sure that today you encourage one person and just say, hey, how are you doing today? Tell them their shoes look nice. Tell them they're looking really happy today. Or, if you know more about their situation, just speak some life into them, because that's what we're supposed to do, speak life and encourage others.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Miss Brittany Bates, the Encourager. We loved having you on our show today, and I hope that we will talk to you again soon and get more books and encouragement from you as well.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you and your viewers.
Yes, I wish you the same. Thank you. So again, you just heard from Brittany Bates, the Encourager. Make sure you check her out at BrittanyBates.net, and you can also find her on Facebook at Brittany Bates, as well as Instagram and Twitter at @B_the Encourager. And I'll be sharing her handles and sharing some things about her so you can follow her through my social media sites. Now, she was our feature for Writer, #Writer Wednesday, but it is also #Workout Wednesday. So after the break, we are actually going to do a live demonstration of some fitness moves, some exercises as we prepare to stay fit and healthy throughout the holiday season. So when we come back, you'll be seeing me and Miss Nikki Sasser of Nikki's Ginger Tea demonstrating some very exciting fitness moves. So stay tuned to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones on Urban Nation Radio, and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones, and now Nikki Sasser, who you may know from the delicious drink Nikki's Ginger Tea. It is now time for our Workout Wednesday segment. So we're going to talk a little bit about what we have going on, and then we're going to get up and do some moves. So we encourage you to get up and try these moves with us too. So Monique, welcome back to Urban Nation Radio. How are you doing today?
Wonderful. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure.
As always, I love having you here. Now, we talked a little bit about how you have a very different approach to fitness. Before we get into that, let's go back to the beginning. You started this fitness program at your church for the community, and it had a very specific name, and you had the name on some t-shirts. Now, tell us about that name, the origin of it, and what you are doing to take that movement of fitness to the next level.
I believe the name was Looking Good, or is still Looking Good and Staying Fit. And I started that with the concept that that's how I would love every woman or man who would come to class to feel that way. But I always say that the bonus is to feel good as you lose and you maintain your health. But to look good, the bonus is to look good.
Mm-hmm.
But to feel good is what you're reaching for, your health, to feel good, but the bonus is to look good.
Yes, so it started off as the name of the program, you had it on a t-shirt, and now what is the next step? What is the next level that you're taking that to?
The next level is to always let people know that there are always options, and you can stay fit with things at home. You can create things to use to stay fit on a shoestring budget.
Mm-hmm.
We've been dubbed ghetto aerobics in newspaper articles, fitness on a shoestring. So the idea that you put your creativity and ingenuity into it for people that really are not so much into equipment, there's more than one way to stay fit.
Ghetto aerobics. Now that sounds interesting. And I have actually had the pleasure of taking place in a lot of your classes. And I know that that doesn't necessarily mean the negative connotation, like that's so ghetto. But what it means is that you use what might be necessary in an urban setting. If people feel intimidated by the idea financially of committing to a gym membership, which some can be really costly, or
Yes.
committing to the idea of paying high prices for, fancy workout equipment, you are very creative in how you create things that we can find right around the house to help us stay fit. So give us some ideas and examples of things you've used to help with fitness equipment.
Okay, well, one of them at home, definitely you could use, like a lot of people know about this, or maybe you haven't thought about it, but bottles of water can be used in replacement for weights. If you don't have weights, you can try that. Cans of food. You can use certain chairs, but you have to make sure that it's safe and you have enough room, and you have to kind of take your time with some things. But actually, in our classes, we've taken broom handles and putting a roller on the end of, and created routines with that. And you can actually take the mop and broom up in front and back and do side to side. You can do so many workouts. Pop bottles
Filled
with sand,
yeah,
and tornado tubes in the middle to work those biceps. There are so many options. Just regular balls that you get at Family Dollar or something, and you can squeeze and get some resistance. There's so many things you can do, and you don't have to spend a lot of money, but it does take your mental creativity, ingenuity. And my idea of good fitness is to just psych yourself out, and you're having so much fun you actually forget you've worked out. You look up, it's an hour and a half, and you're having so much fun. You're ready for a shower afterwards, but you're staying fit. And if you're consistent with it, it can really work to your advantage. And from my experience, it will work if you're into it. Fitness that way, it can definitely work.
Now
for
tell
you.
us how we can work it into our holiday plans. Let's say we're all at the family house, we're sitting back eating the turkey and the dressing and the cornbread, and normally I lay down and go to sleep or read a book. But what's something that the family can do to incorporate this fun fitness that you speak of into our holiday gatherings?
Well, personally, my pastor, Pastor Barry, he always says, Monique, you'll dance anywhere. I'm one of those people where you see on the commercial dancing down the aisles, and if somebody catches me, I continue dancing. So when you're at home, you got the music playing, you're cooking. Say you got the music playing, you got some people in the house, get up and start dancing. Make up some routines, get the kids involved. Just get everybody moving. You look up, 30 minutes and an hour pass by, that's your workout. Make sure you tell people, well, let's get some water in here. Not the pop, not the juice. Get the water. The water is your mainstay. Keep the water close, because you can get winded if you haven't worked out in a while. So just be creative with it. If you're cooking and you're sampling food and you're eating, work it off.
Yes. All All right, so make sure you incorporate that into your holiday plans. And now we're going to take a quick break so we can set up to demonstrate some actual moves that you can do right at home, right at your holiday party, whatever the case may be. I'm going to be the guinea pig, and Monique is going to be the instructor. So you get to see our full workout session right after the break. So go put something comfortable on, something you can move around in, and then join us as we do a fitness demonstration for Workout Wednesday on Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones and Monique Nikki Sasser.
Don't forget the water.
Yeah, get you some water too on the break. Give me some too because I'm thirsty. All right, we'll talk to you in just a moment. Peace. All right, welcome back to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones. We are now into our Workout Wednesday segment with Miss Monique Nikki Sasser, and she is getting ready to do a fitness demonstration. We are going to work it on out to some very special holiday music. Now, before we start that music, tell us about this song we're about to hear.
Santa Claus goes straight to the ghetto.
Yes, since her workouts
James
have been
Brown.
dubbed ghetto aerobics, we are doing, what is it, Santa Claus Goes Straight to the Ghetto with James Brown. So we encourage you to look up this song, play it when you're having your family gathering, and you can do some of the moves we're getting ready to demonstrate. So
You can make up some moves as you go along. Just the more you put in it, the more you get out of it with any workout.
all right, so let's take it away with the music, and we'll kind of be talking through the moves as we go. So it looks like we're starting with what is this, a two-step?
Kind of a two-step, and you kind of step it back.
And tell us the importance of, when we're getting ready to work out, what's the importance of a warm-up and a stretch, and what order should we be doing it?
You should do the warm-up first to prevent injury, and the cool-down just to get your muscles back in order after the hard work that they've done.
All right, so
We want to treat our muscles right. Keep the tummies tight. Get those arms up and over. Whoa.
So I noticed you have a little ball going on here. Where'd you get that ball
I'm gonna give it to you. These are from the dollar store.
Dollar store. So working out on a budget.
That's right. Keep the tummies tight, the buttocks is tight. Keep it going.
All right, so we're warming it up by doing a basic two-step to the music. And if the idea of working out intimidates you, think of it as just dancing.
Yeah, just having fun.
Hey,
Put your hips into it.
Hey, that's what I like to do.
If you can sing and talk at the same time that you're working at a safe pace. That's the measurement. No,
Does the singing have to be on key?
no, just sing. Have fun with it. Keep the water close. Keep it moving. Kick your feet up here, right here. Pick it up.
Now, what is this working? I feel it. I feel it in my thighs.
The gluteus medius and maximus.
Oh, so
the hamstrings.
So everybody's trying to get a booty these days. So if I want to lift my butt, I can lift
Get around.
those
Squeeze that
legs.
ball to give you some resistance. Squeeze it.
I'm feeling the burn. Help me. Woo, I feel it in my thighs. I feel it in my hamstrings. I feel this twist in my core. So we want to get rid of those love handles.
Keep everything tight. Tummies, buttocks, keep them tight. Hold them in.
I think I'm getting off beat.
That's all right. Keep moving. The important thing is to keep it moving.
Yes.
Let's take it. Put
I
the
feel
shoulders
it.
in.
I feel it in my legs.
Take it back.
Hey.
2, 3. Back. 2, 3. Back. 2. Spread it out.
Like I'm on Broadway.
Keep everything tight. Tight. Tight.
Tight.
Tight.
Concentrate.
Tight.
Stomach tight. Butt
Get some
tight.
water anytime you need it. Water breaks. Take them.
Yes.
Just walk it up. 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. Put your hips into it. Take it back. 1, 2, 3. 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3. And then 3, 2, 1. March it out. Yep, squeeze that ball, Monica. Resistance.
Working these arm
Take
muscles.
them up, down, up, down, up, down, up. Now you can pretend you have a ball. Keep those fingers tight. Working the arms.
Yes. That song gave me life, honey. So when we are done with the workout, what do we do next? Do we just sit down?
No. When you are done with the workout, you cool down. because of blood pooling in the extremities, you must cool down for your body's sake.
So what are some examples of exercises we can do to cool down? Because I know my heart rate is going right now.
Let's bend the knees, never lock the knees. Inhaling and exhaling, stretch the arms out. 3, 4,
Feels like ballet all over again.
6. Put the hands on your hips.
Jackson 5.
Walk your legs in. Walk your feet in.
To all Motown fans.
Reach out.
Oh, this
Take
feels
it back
good on my
flat.
hamstrings.
Go lock the knees. Bring the knees up. Bring the arms up. Inhale up and exhale down. And just do a two-step. Don't put a lot into it because you're cooling down.
Hey, I was just about to.
Kind of be cute with it.
Put a little hair whip in it.
Yeah. Use the hips, but just take your time. And walk it up to 3. Back 2, 3. Back 2, 3.
I feel my
Relax
pants.
the arm. Put the ball
I'm
down.
losing inches already. My pants
Keep
getting
everything
loose.
tight still.
Stomach in. Now, what did you say? How do we know our stomach is tight? What should we be able to
Squeeze
feel?
that navel into the spine. So you can feel a tightness. You feel the muscles actually working for you.
Like how you feel
The
when you
sides
feel
will
hungry.
reach. Yes.
Stomach is touching the back.
And the buttocks tight. Keep it tight. Everything tight.
Did I just flex?
Spread it out. 1, 2,
Wax on, wax off. Wax on, wax off. She said you should be able to sing and talk while you work out.
That's right. And if you're offbeat, it doesn't matter. If you're moving, you're going to get the benefit. Think about moving for 30 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, and you benefit from it 3 times to 5 times a week. You will see the benefits.
Yes.
Keep the arms down. Just use the shoulders up and down. Inhale, exhale. You got to breathe in and out.
Oh, yes. Breathing is important. We often go
Definitely. We
so
have to
much
breathe to be
without
here.
breathing. I mean, we breathe because we're not dead, but sometimes we don't take those deep,
That's right.
intentional breaths.
That's right. 2, 1. The shoulders front, back. 2, 3, 4,
Now, these are all cool down moves.
5. Yes. 6,
It's like a workout for me.
7, 8, 9, 10. And take one arm over and hold it and turn your head in the opposite direction so you can get a stretch in the side of the neck.
So talk a little bit too about the importance of stretch. We talk about warming up and cooling down. Now let's talk about the stretch. Why is that so important?
To prevent injury. Your muscles have to come down from all the hard work. So it's like giving your muscles a massage.
So that I want to say to all our gentlemen who go and lift all those heavy weights and wonder why something's always hurting or pulled. You got to do the stretch. I see people just jump right into a strenuous workout without a warm up, without a stretch, without a cool down. Every piece, including the rest, is all just as important.
That was good.
Thank you. You have been watching Workout Wednesday on Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones and Monique Nikki Sasser, who will be coming back regularly to give us health and fitness and nutrition tips and do fitness demonstrations such as the one you just observed. So any final words or thoughts on, what we should continue to do, not only throughout the holiday season, but in the new year as well?
Well, one of my favorite ones, I won't say I would overuse it. If you want your prayers answered, you have to get off your knees and hustle. You got to put the work in. What you put in is what you get back.
Yes. Well, I don't know about you, but I need a drink of water, and as she encouraged, I need you to go get one too. Let's take a quick break before we come back and wrap up the show. Midweek Motivation with MMJ and MNS on Urban Nation Radio. We'll be right back after the break. Welcome back to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones. You just witnessed our Workout Wednesday segment so now we're going to kind of go into some of the resources and the things that you can support in the community. It is the holiday season, so I really want to focus on giving and places where you can support local businesses and community organizations and churches. So we'll start off by talking, Nikki or Monique, about the bazaar that's going on at your church. Tell us about your church, the bazaar, and how we can come and get some of that delicious Nikki's ginger tea.
Well, at Church of the Messiah, we are true grassroots community activists. We really strive to do what we say we will do.
Yes.
And we strive to make the best of our community with all the challenges that a lot of our inner city communities and churches are experiencing. We still stay afloat, and we're going to have a variety of wonderful vendors with items that will be inexpensive. And from 8 until 4, you can come and purchase items. You can come and get samples of Nikki's ginger tea. We have 6 flavors. So come out and you'll be able to keep your budgets and get some gifts and meet some really good people. There's no telling what you might find at Church of the Messiah, because we have people to come in Church of the Messiah from all walks of life. We have so many things happening there.
Yeah, so another event I want to bring to your attention is Operation Love Thy Neighbor, which is coordinated by a great friend of mine, Miss Sheree Bell, and she will actually be going out this Saturday to clothe the homeless. So we are raising money to buy warm clothing, blankets, shirts, gloves, everything that's needed to keep warm on the streets during this holiday season. And we are only trying to raise $400. So I know we're probably more than halfway to that goal. I'm personally trying to raise about $70. So if you'd like to make a donation, please feel free to contact me if you're in the Detroit area, or you can send it to me via PayPal at Monica M. Jones, so that I can make sure to give to that worthy cause. If you're interested in volunteering, donating items, or donating cash, check out Operation Love Thy Neighbor on Facebook, or Sheree Bell, which is SHERAEBELL, and we will be able to connect you to that worthy cause. So, as always, we have a few tips that we want to leave you with in the areas that we feel you need motivation the most, and that's relationships, finance, fitness, and business. Monique, I want you to think about those 4 areas, and of course, I know fitness is one that you'll have, but if anything else jumps out at you, I know we spent the first hour of our show talking with Q Harper, so I know that I got plenty of relationship tips, and I think one of the ones that stuck with me was how he talked about when you get in a relationship, you want to be sure to ask some very important questions. What are your goals, and how are our goals similar? Who do you believe in? What do you believe in? Making sure that you have similar or the same spiritual beliefs. And then another thing that really stood out to me that, he is food for thought, is he said, if I was never vulnerable to you, you never had me. So just talking about being open and vulnerable and really connected with the person that you're with. It shouldn't be so easy to just get a divorce or just break up and that be it and you're ready to move on. So really connecting on a whole nother level with the person that is your mate. Any other thoughts, Nikki? I know that you're a business owner. I know that you are a fitness guru. So any other thoughts or tips you want to leave our listeners with about the areas of fitness, finances, or business?
I would say to never, ever give up on improving yourself. That is constant. That we will always do until we take our last breath. So we should always do. Always be open to improvement. Keep positive people in your lives. Any negativity, think about that for the new year. Any negative people, get rid of them.
Yes. Thanks for sharing that. I want to share a little exercise I did with a group of my friends last year on New Year's Eve. We all got together. I called it Reflections and Resolutions. So we thought about everything that, worked, that didn't work, what we wanted to get rid of. And then we thought about, what do we want to do in the new year? And when we thought about the things we wanted to get rid of, we literally wrote it down on scraps of paper, we set it on fire and put it in like a little, if you have a fire pit or something safe, but we just used a little barbecue grill on my porch, and we literally, set it on fire and said we would release those things, leave them in the previous year, and get ready for the new year. So I encourage you to put together some type of event or ceremony to really let those things go and move on with a clean fresh slate. And remember, like Nikki said, all those things go together: fitness, business, finances, and relationships. And it starts with investing in yourself. So I want to thank you so much for listening to Midweek Motivation with Monica Marie Jones today and Monique Sasser. You also heard from Q Harper and Brittany Bates. So support all of those people. And Nikki, just close us out with telling us how we can follow you on Facebook, get information, and order that delicious Nikki's ginger tea.
Well, look, we're definitely on Facebook. Please like us. Come out and sample. You can come to the church during the week, Monday through Thursday, from 8 until 4, and you can get samples. You can order tea. You can go to our local stores, all the Whole Foods in Michigan, especially the one in Detroit, and come out and buy some tea. Come and try some tea when we're at Eastern Market. Get some samples. Come to the bazaar that we're having this Saturday, and stay in touch. We're at ngtorders@yahoo.com.
Yes, and that is
And we have a webpage.
Church of the Messiah, which is on East Grand Boulevard, just north of Jefferson in Detroit. And for those of you that are listening from other cities and states, which I know you are, check out Nikki's Ginger Tea on Facebook. Thank you so
Please
much for listening, and we will see you again soon. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Stay entertained, inspired, and motivated.